I'm R.BHUSHAN. Welcome to ASG. ASG IAS believe in quality, commitment, and success. Closing the gender gap in science. Closing the gender gap in science. With few women in the field, the quality of science and advancement of society are both affected. This article was written by C.P. Rajendran in Hindu newspaper. India celebrates National Science Day on February 28 every year to mark C.V. Raman's discovery of the scattering of light. For the last 33 years, on this day, research institutes and other academic centers in the country have been holding a public outreach programs or conducting meetings on the select topics. This year, the theme was Women in Science. This is timely and relevant theme, but it is also rather ironic given that the Raman himself did not warm up to the idea of women in science. For some time, the prejudice meant that women candidates were refused admission to the Indian Institute of Science in 1930s during Raman's tenure as a director. Lost opportunities. Despite the progressive political and philosophical convictions, Raman was traditionalist like many others of the time. He imbibed the sexist view that were the part of society then. Among these three women students, only Anna Mani was able to choose a scientific career, although she could not get a doctoral degree. Sunanda Bai was not awarded a PhD and committed suicide for unknown reasons. Lalita Duraiswamy left her studied and chose to marry Subramaniam Chandrasekhar, who was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1983. Why did these talented women fail to get their due? It would be interesting to contrast their journey with the story of the Janki Amal. Amal opted to pursue master's degree from the Michigan State University in US and continued her scientific career even after her return to India. The success of Janki Amal, who chose to leave India, versus the stories of other women tell us about lost opportunity, the cultural and gender norms that engendered discriminations even during resistance of the South in India was a major reason why the country lost out an important opportunity to build culture of including women in science during the pre-independence days. These stories of the gender discriminations help in our understanding of the current discourse on the social and organizational conditions that regulate women's participation in the science, education, and research. How do male challenges colleagues behave towards women working in labs today? Have gender attitudes changed? It is true that resurgent inclusive nationalism propounded by Mahatma Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore, Jawaharlal Nehru, and others during the struggle for independence encouraged women, at least those who are part of the upper social strata, to break the familial and cultural shackles and into the public space. But did these social transformations, however incompetent it may have been, help in narrowing the wide gender gap in professional career? While cultural and social causes are considered the primary reason for gender discrimination, at least in India, organizational factors have also played a big role in preventing gender parity in science. This can be changed if more women are given leadership position. If more women are given leadership position, lack of women leaders and women role models may be preventing more women from entering the field compared to the pre-independence days. And one encouraging fact is that there is an exponential growth in the participation of women in the undergraduate and graduate levels. In the UK, women account for 40% of undergraduate students who pursue degrees in the physical sciences and mathematical sciences and 14% in engineering and technology. In India, the corresponding figures are about 40% and 18%, respectively. More than 40% of the PhD holders in India are women. These figures, according to various estimates published in current science, so that the social shackles are loosening. The legally pipeline problem. However, the trouble starts after women obtain their educational qualification. The percentage of women in faculty positions drops in less than 20%. Only a few reach the top position of the institute and university. This is also the time when many of them become mothers, sometimes because of familial pressure. The Indian science academics are aware of the problem, but the reforms should start from their own backyard. In all three science academics combined, only about 10% are women fellows. Including more women in science is not only important from the human rights perspective, it also impacts the quality of science and the advancement of society itself. This is not to say that the situation is hopeless. There have been changes that give us hope too. For example, India is seeing more women in engineering today than ever before. This is heartwarming, and engineering was once seen as a man-only domain. The role of women engineers in the launch of the Indian Space Research Organization's second moon missions Chandrayaan 2 is now legendary. At the same time, some recent reports should worry us. According to the Global Gender Gap Index 2020, a study covering 153 economies, India slipped to the 112th spot from its 108th position in 2018. The report also says it would take nearly 100 years to close the gender gap in the various fields in India compared to the time it would take in other countries. This prediction should be proved wrong. For this, the Indian scientific community should act as a pressure group to build greater focus on the issue and push for concrete measures to address the problem. As a simple first step, India should relax certain norms for women. The expansion of the maternity leave to 26 weeks from the previous 12 weeks shows that the present government is seized of the matter, but how this will affect the hiring of women workers is yet to be seen. The history of the science shows that many revolutionary discoveries were made by women scientists. The most famously known women scientist is Marie Curie. But contemporary times are full of examples. Rosalind Franklin, Barbara McClintock, and Jennifer Doudna, to name a few. There are many in India too whose contributions we must highlight in the textbook. Women across the world face the leaky pipeline problem without supportive institutional structure in the place. Women, when they are pregnant, worry about gaps in the publication, how they will do field work, whether they will get promotions. Productivity concerns are high for women, especially in the academia where the number of papers you publish is marker of the productivity. In India, we have many examples of women researchers who are involved in the exciting scientific experiments. It is imperative that we understand and remove the sexism and institutional obstacle that prevent more women from entering the scientific field. C. Rajendran is a professor at the Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research. Views are personal.